Good morning and welcome to my Tireside Chat. It's Friday, bitches. Watch out for the cement truck. Okay. I'm dodging traffic. It is Friday, May 17th. I made a video the other day on Wednesday and then I never uploaded it. It was really good too. Should have seen it. Sorry you missed out, you know. It's too bad. But it's been an interesting week in crypto. We had Bitcoin almost to 105 and it's kind of cooled off a little bit. I had some altcoins that were really up. It's kind of cooled off a little bit. A lot of them that I was up, I mean, I'm still way up from a month ago, but it's cooled down 5 or 10%. Dude, you don't have a stop sign. Oh my god. People, it's cooled down 5 or 10% from where it was a couple days ago. Wednesday, this person's parked in the middle of the street. I'm sorry, I'm just like interrupting my own commentary. Yeah, there's no one in the car, he's just parked there. Maybe he's, alright. Stop being so distracted, Robin, and talk about what you're going to talk about. All right. So we're back down a little bit from the peak, but I think it's just kind of like a nice cooling off consolidation period. I was kind of looking to, I had a little bit of dry powder, a little bit of USD, some cash sitting on the sidelines, kind of waiting, trying to determine what I wanted to do with it. I mean, it's a small amount compared to my overall portfolio, but you know, every little bit you can dollar cost average in helps. Stack up some coins where you see some good buys. I think there's some good buys out there this week compared to hopefully where things are going to go. I've been watching like I usually do. I think, you know, yes, this is another crypto YouTube channel. But for those of you who I talk to somewhat regularly, or on my Discord chat, or whatever, just kind of giving you my synopsis of, I've kind of taken in and digested, you know, the 10 different YouTube channels and then Discord chats, dozen or so Discord chats that I follow, and kind of what I've seen, and I'm regurgitating that here, along with a little bit, a sprinkling of my own opinions. There's a lot going on in the crypto world this week, and then also just like in the macroeconomic level, the geopolitical level, that has drastic effects on crypto. We still have the trade wars going on, even though it seems like that's on a bit of a hiatus just because Trump announced a 90-day pause with China on Monday, and a drop in tariffs that's allowed at least trade to continue. So hopefully the reduction in shipments from China that was being seen, that we're already seeing, the Port of LA was reporting at the beginning of this week a 35% drop in the ships coming in from overseas, from over the Pacific, obviously due to the tariffs. And so hopefully that'll pick back up. And since I'm on the subject, so one of the YouTube video channels I started watching is a guy who is a maritime expert, and that he's had this video channel for, I don't know, 5 years or so. It's probably had very few followers up until the past couple months now, and it's of prime interest to everybody. This guy who's like a maritime expert, who's got like a doctorate or a bunch of degrees in it, and he used to work at the Port of Los Angeles, and just follows and knows people there and follows exactly what's going on there at all times. So I've watched a couple of his videos. He just has like little 15-minute videos on it's called What's Going On at the Ports. Go and check it out if you want. It's very informative, and he just shows how there's I guess anyone can go to it. There's a website that shows live data of where all the shipments are, where the big ships that carry all the containers are all over the world. And he talks about how, they stack them up in China or wherever they're coming from, and it's a 22-day journey from China to LA. And then, there's ones coming from Vietnam and Singapore and wherever else in East Asia. It was really interesting. So the guy knows what he's talking about. It's obviously a valid source of information. He was saying that now probably what's going on, what he expects, and he was talking about the cost to ship a container, one of those big storage containers, which Walmart and all the companies that import goods from China on a massive scale pay for. He says they pay a slightly different rate because they buy so much in bulk, but he said the cost of the containers to ship has gone up, where he said like pre-COVID, I guess one container might have been $2,500 thereabouts, and it had gone up to $5,000 or $6,000 post-COVID, and now they're charging surpluses because of everything that's gone on, and depending on where you're shipping from into, it can be between $7,000, and if you're shipping to the East Coast and you're having to go ship from China or anywhere like in Asia, India, where it used to be that ships would sail through the Red Sea. Now, because of the war in Yemen and the Houthi rebels bombing everything that comes through there or attacking things that go through there, now those ships have to go around the Cape of Good Hope, around Africa, which is a much longer journey, and then back up to the east coast of the U.S. And for the time being, I don't know how. I think it's been going on for a year or two at least. The war in Yemen has been happening for, gosh, how many years now? It's been at least like 4 or 5 years. But the Saudis have been attacking the Yemenis, which is really, and the Saudis are backed by the United States, and Yemen is a poor country. Let's not get into that, but not a great thing. That war needs to come to an end too, and it doesn't get enough of the spotlight. But I digress. So, cost of shipping. So we have the trade war still going on. Thankfully, that's on a pause. Hopefully, the Trump administration and Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, really make some progress in undoing the damage that they've done. Which, they're only, even if they completely did a 180 again, and I know I've said this before, but even if they did a complete 180 and said, hey, look, we're getting rid of all the tariffs, we want free trade between all of our trading partners, and what can we do to make that better? There's still a lot of damage that has been done. Like Scott Bessent came out this week and was, after the talks that they had with the Chinese in Switzerland, is saying, neither side wants a decoupling. And by decoupling, they mean like decoupling the trade arrangements, the setup that we have now between the U.S. and China, and all of our trading partners, where we just go our separate ways and we don't trade with each other at all anymore, and we find new trading partners. But that's already kind of happening. China, I think, has been prepping for this for years, from the sounds of it, and we don't really hear it as much in American media, but really that desperate to recouple with us entirely. They have other options now, and their other options are growing. And it's been stated that the trade embargo that we've put on them, essentially, that's what it is, has really caused their economy to suffer. They do have issues. It has declined, but I think that the Chinese are, again, they're much more prepared for something like this than we are, and they have the ability to take more of a hit temporarily. Their inflation is much lower than ours is, and if they need to, which I think they've already been doing, where they've been pumping money into their economy, but they have a lot more room to do that than we do. We really don't so much right now, which is another reason why Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve has been holding back, very cautious about switching from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing, where they're pumping money into our economy. I think that is going to happen eventually. It's just a matter of time before they do, because they've shrunk QT so much, I think, to the smallest point that they can right now. So at some point they'll have to stop that and then turn around and they'll start selling, maybe later this year, early next year, which is going to be a huge indicator for the start of the bull run, by the way. I mean, that should really kick things off, because traditionally it always has. But getting back to the Chinese, all that to say that I don't think that they're in as desperate a spot as it's been made out to be by certain sectors of our media, or the president, or his administration, his staff. And the fact remains that small, medium, large businesses here in the U.S. need goods from China in order to survive. That's what most of their business models are built on. Everything from, a small business who's manufacturing stuff in China and selling it on Temu or whatever, to the Walmarts of the world and Target, all of our clothes that come from Bangladesh and Vietnam, and China, and electronics, everything. And without that, we'd have to find alternatives. And you can talk all day about bringing back manufacturing to the United States. That sounds great, but with the cost of labor here and the amount of time it would take for companies, the money it would take to invest in starting that, and then the time it would take to get it done. I mean, even if it did happen, we're still looking at 2 to 4 years at best. And how many American jobs are really going to be created when you take it to the factor that in the process of seeing what we're going through, and all the layoffs that will be happening or have happened just due to the amount of increased costs that businesses are going to have to suffer, because that's going to be a much more immediate effect. And no, we haven't seen that really yet. I don't think we've seen price hikes that much, and in some instances we've seen prices go down on things over the past month or so, which the Trump supporters and their media have been just roundly yelling from the streets about, oh, everything's getting better, and but there's always a delay to things like this. And the fact of the matter is, even if China had completely stopped shipping things to us, it's been estimated that most companies in the United States on average have somewhere between 5 and 7 weeks worth of goods stockpiled. And so it would be kind of until those stockpiles were depleted, until we really started seeing price increases And one way or another, we're still going to start seeing price increases, because even with this latest trade deal from the Trump administration, we've gone from 145% tariffs to 30% tariffs. Which is still more than what we were charging before, and the importers do pay for that. They pay those taxes to the U.S. federal government when they receive those goods, and those increased costs get passed along. That's just the way it works. It's not the foreign government that pays that tax. I can't believe that President Trump is still floating that narrative. It's just not true. So crypto, now that I'm at work and done with my little drive here, we're at we've kind of a lull. Today's Friday. Maybe things will go down a bit further this weekend. Like I said, I might be looking to buy into some new entries. I don't know, or just to add to some of my existing ones. And I've still got that Tari. I've only read it. Tari mining going on. That was kind of fun. I've earned a bit. Morning. One of my coworkers walking up. I've earned a good bit of that this week. We'll see. Let's see what happens with that. Yeah, go check out just Tari mining if you want to do a Google search. It's like, for someone who's been doing crypto mining for 4 or 5 years, I will say it's really easy to install and run. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to make firewall exceptions on your computer. You can run it on Windows, Mac, or Linux. They just launched it like a week ago. Maybe it's been 10 days. I started mining it almost the first day, and earned quite a bit. That was cool. It's not being traded anywhere yet. Actually, I did find one really shady exchange this morning where they were trading it. I think that somebody maybe launched the exchange just to scam people. I sent $15 to it and bought some. I think it's XMT is the trading symbol, and then sent it to my wallet. And I don't think I'm gonna try that again. But that's kind of a new endeavor that I've gotten into that's potentially really cool. I could see that really spreading like wildfire, because it's so easy to install. For anybody can just go and download it and start mining with whatever computer hardware you have. They made it really easy. The development team, I'm pretty impressed with what they've done. It's very professional. It's slick looking. It's easy to do. It seems like the hash rate on that network has skyrocketed since I first started running it, to where like the first couple days I was earning a lot of rewards, and then it's like steadily gone downhill pretty quickly. So you're getting less and less and even though I've been adding more processing power to, I've got a mining rig in my garage. But it's pretty cool. So if that actually launches on an exchange and it starts selling for $1 or more, that'll be a nice little payout. I might not even hold on to it. I might just sell it. I don't know. We'll see. But between that and I'm still mining, I've got 2 Timpi nodes, TIMPI, which is the blockchain based. It's kind of like a Google search. It's compared to Google, but it's supposed to be rivaling that. That's their goal with AI capabilities and everything else. I'm running a Beam node, which is a gaming network that runs on the Avalanche network, which that Beam was a top 100 crypto back in December. It's fallen quite a bit, but it's super cheap right now. And I think even if it gets back to even where its all-time high was, or where it was in December, that's like a 6x from here, I think. From about where it's at now. And I think it's with all the development they have in that network and the popularity of it, that one could do really well. All right, well, I'm gonna head into the office now, I guess. So I'll try and remember to upload this video and share it now that I'm at the 20-minute mark. So happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're doing well, and talk to you next week.